Hey BooTube, it is currently 2:04 in the morning. I'm so bad, and I'm still sick. So, yeah, I'm still sick. Well, I'm pretty much 80% recovered. I'm still sick. Still have tiny sniffles and slight coughs, but 80% healed, and it is 2:04 in the morning. Awesome, right? And if you don't know where this beanie comes from, not many people are into fighting games, so if you don't know, Street Fighter beanie, you know the main dude of Street Fighter, Ryu? Yeah? If you look at his gloves, this scene here. Anyway, I know I am missing, a video for Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 15, titled Fellowship of the Spear, which premiered last week, and Arrow Season 5, Episode 17, titled Capuchin or something like that, and that also premiered last week, and I'm literally missing this week's CW DC shows as well, which is Supergirl, Flash, and again another Legends and Arrow. So I decided to do at least half of those, because I'm missing literally 6 episodes. 2 Legends, 2 Arrows, 1 Flash, and 1 Supergirl, and I decided to do at least attempt half of them here. So here it is, Legends of Tomorrow, Season 2, Episode 15, titled Fellowship of the Spear. And if you have not guessed the pun, yes, it's a little pun to a Lord of the Rings title, literally, the Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring. So I have a feeling they might actually meet maybe J.R.R. Tolkien just because of this, because literally it says Fellowship of the Spear, which is a pun of Fellowship of the Ring, which is Lord of the Rings, written by J.R.R. Tolkien. I almost forgot that one R. Anyway, apparently from what I remember last year, oh my god. I'm sorry guys, again, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm still recovering from sickness. So, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, from what I remember from that particular episode last week, not last year, the Legends managed to steal the remaining fragments from Eobard Thawne. And, since they stole the last remaining fragments, they put the entire spear together, and it's all whole again. And, it was pretty funny because, they were thinking of destroying it, and frickin', if I remember correctly, Mick tried to burn the thing, and instead of like it actually burning, the fire ended up showing a message in the spear, which is another pun, a little Easter egg pun thing to Lord of the Rings, because you remember that one ring that everyone wanted, you put it near a fire and you see those little inscriptions on it. The spear did the same thing when Mick pretty much tried to burn it, and it revealed that it could only be destroyed by the blood of Jesus Christ, apparently. If I remember correctly, they said the spear had magical properties because it stabbed Jesus Christ. Wasn't that what happened in Legends or something like that? But anyway, and Nate reveals that the great J.R.R. Tolkien has done a lot of research on a guy named Sir Gawain, or Gawain. I can't pronounce his name. It's Gawain. Gawain. But anyway, J.R.R. Tolkien did a lot of research on a guy who apparently possessed some of Christ's blood, which is needed to destroy the spear. And, again, J.R.R. Tolkien, the writer of Lord of the Rings. Maybe this is where he got his story from. Just like, George Lucas was in previous episode, got all his ideas from there. You know what I mean? Anyway, they managed to find Tolkien in the Battle of Somme in 1916. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is Somme? S-O-M-M-E. But anyway, it's in 1916, and Tolkien takes the Legends to what seems to be a grave, and they are then But during that whole battle, Mick starts getting more apparently hallucinations of Snart. But what was really weird was this hallucination of Snart punched Mick, and it actually left a bruise, and it made me question if it was really a hallucination, right? And I was proved my theory was proven right, because when they were taken to the grave by Tolkien, they are confronted by Snart. And then Mick's like, he kind of is freaking out because he's like, oh my god, here comes another hallucination, but then everybody else on the team can see him. They're like, oh my god, Snart, right? And he's like, you guys can see him? I thought he was just in my head and all that stuff, right? And then Damien Dark shows up, and, you know, Dark and Snart attack the Legends, and they find out, well, the team finds out that the Legion of Doom actually went back in time and recruited Leonard Snart just before he joined the Legends. Because remember, before he joined the Legends, he was just a criminal. A bad guy in a way. And so they recruited bad guy Snart just before he joined the team in the Legends. And brought him and added him to the Legion. And so the one that probably punched Mick in the face was probably the Snart that was there. Anyway, sorry, my TV went off. But anyway, what you call it? Tolkien, he I think acquired a map before escaping with the Legends, because, you know, they were attacked by Damien Dark, Leonard Snart, and a bunch of little henchmen that Dark had, apparently. And Tolkien managed to acquire this map. And Amaya, back on the Wave Rider, she offers to use the Spear of Destiny to basically erase the Legion of Doom from reality. But the others are like, that's a bad idea. We're not those type of people. We don't just, they're bad guys, yes, but we don't just zap them out of existence, you know? That's not who we are. And so obviously everyone's opposed to Amaya's idea, although I would have done it anyways. But anyway, using the map that Tolkien escaped with and the spear, they managed to track the blood back to the Battle of Somme area, and where Rip manages to convince both sides, the Legends and the Legion, to cease fire, during which the Legends managed to acquire the blood of Christ. And if you're not, let me rephrase that, that part where Rip manages to convince both sides to cease fire, it's not the Legends and the Legion, it's the two people battling, you know what I mean? Like, the two people who are battling in the Battle of Somme, yeah, Rip managed to have both of them, both groups, cease fire so the Legends could get the blood, not the Legion and the Legends. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, they are unfortunately confronted by Damien Dark and Snart. And I forgot what happened in particular, but I remember on the Wave Rider, there were some trust issues, especially when they found out that the Legion has brought Leonard Snart into the whole Legion. And the team apparently has, you know, they're kind of worried that Mick will join, like, the dark side, because Leonard Snart is on the dark side, right? And so there's some trust issues there on the Wave Rider right before they get the blood. And because of that, Mick feels, you know, betrayed by the Legends, in a way. And when they get confronted by Damien Dark and Snart, because Mick felt somewhat betrayed by the team, Snart, you know, he's coaxing Mick to join the Legion and give them the spear. And, you know, since he is already hurt by somewhat being betrayed by the Legends, ends up joining the Legion of Doom and giving them the spear. And Snart, Dark, and Mick escape with the spear. And during that time, before they escaped, though, Snart manages to trigger a conflict between the two battling sides, and just as they escape, they start fighting again, and unfortunately that leads to the destruction of the blood of Christ that the legends required earlier. And it sucks, because basically that blood was all they had. That was the only blood they had of Christ, and that's all they had to pretty much destroy the spear, and it was pretty much destroyed in the crossfire. And they lost a member of their team, mainly because he not only got coaxed by Snart, his former partner, but the team kind of drove him into Snart's little hands, because they didn't trust Mick, and because of that he felt betrayed, and that pretty much led Mick into the arms of Snart and the Legion. So technically that was their fault, if you think about it. Anyway, so yeah, they lost the spear to the Legion of Doom. They lost the only thing that could destroy the spear in the crossfire, and they lost Mick to the Legion, which is technically their fault in my honest opinion. But anyway, back with the Legion, Malcolm returns to the Legion, and you see Dark, Snart, Merlin, Thawne, and Mick. Apparently Malcolm returned to the Legion with a manuscript called the Calabros manuscript or something like that, which is supposedly used to activate the spear, and the whole Legion, Mick included, activate the spear. So I like the episode. I like the puns and little quips to Lord of the Rings. Like, for instance, the title of this episode is literally titled Fellowship of the Spear, which is a pun to Fellowship of the Ring. The fact that we see J.R.R. Tolkien, the fact that there's like this battle and he's like in the middle of it, pretty much observing everything. And also the spear, the fact that the inscription on the spear was triggered by Mick's fire, kind of like how the Ring of Sauron was pretty much triggered the same way. So I like the little quips to Lord of the Rings. I really do. It was really cute. In all honesty, the Mick joining the Legion, I saw it with Snart, but in all honesty, it was the Legend's fault, because they made him feel betrayed. It was the Legend's fault. They drove Mick away. That was their fault. But anyway, I love the episode, and I'll see you guys for episode 16. I literally believe it's titled Doom World. See you guys later.